Tell us about this case and why it was important, because Republicans have been harping about voter fraud for some time.
Yeah, so this case was narrowly about a statute that or procedure that Ohio has for removing people from the rolls. But more broadly, it was sort of a proxy for this bigger fight where Republicans say, hey, there are a lot of people on the rolls who shouldn't be, and that's creating a danger of fraud. And Democrats say, hey, when you're talking fraud, you're actually trying to suppress votes among low-income and minority people.
Will this have an impact on the November elections then?
It could have a small impact, especially in swing states, narrowly divided states like Ohio. Ohio had a particular procedure where they, after you didn't vote in one election, they would send you a notice saying, hey, do you still live there? And then if you didn't return that notice and didn't vote a couple more times, they would remove you from the rolls. And there are about 6 states that have similar procedures, including some important states like Pennsylvania and West Virginia. So those states could be affected, and in a close election, it could make the difference.
So, Greg, purging voter rolls of people who haven't voted recently is not the only approach states have taken to really trying to get around what they call voter fraud. Does this decision, is it written broadly enough that it actually would affect other attempts?
It is, David. It is a pretty narrowly written decision in that it is interpreting a federal statute, the motor voter law from a couple decades ago. And that law has a provision in it that says you can't remove somebody just because they didn't vote. And the question was whether Ohio's statute violated Ohio's procedure violated that statute. The court said that it didn't. It is fairly narrowly focused on that sort of situation, affecting a handful of states and certainly having some rhetorical impact, but not having legally a massive impact.
Greg, so we're also expecting more rulings from the Supreme Court. Tell us what's coming up.
So we do, in the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a slew of really big rulings. The biggest of them include the president's travel ban, 2 fights over partisan gerrymandering, internet sales taxes and whether states can force internet retailers to collect taxes, and a fight over whether public sector workers can be forced to pay for the cost of collective bargaining.